Linebacker Shaq Leonard had a very solid game against the New York Giants. The guy was all over the field making play after play after play, racked up a number of tackles, a couple of tackles for losses, had a sack. Generally speaking, Leonard had his best game of this season. Of course, in his first 2 games, the guy was a little limited in terms of his playing time, but this week against the Giants specifically, he ended up starting and he played over 50 snaps. And you saw plays like this where the guy was just downhill. He was reading, he was reacting. He was able to process what's happening out in front of him. On this one specifically, he's going to see that the offensive lineman here is covering the pulling offensive lineman here. So Leonard's going to take his shot right off the edge there. And on this one here, 2nd and 8, Saquon Barkley's going to actually get tackled for a 1-yard loss. But there are a ton of plays like this, and of course we're going to analyze the tape. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, so you're going to get a 4-yard completion here, but I want you guys to watch Leonard and watch how fast he processes this play. This guy's going to recognize the play faster than the other linebacker, as you guys can see. And of course, the 4-yard gain, the play doesn't ultimately hit, but one of the things I like with Leonard is the fact that he is a very smart football player. Now, you can tell that the vision this guy plays with is a lot better, it's a lot faster, he's a lot quicker than other players. You can see on this one as he recognizes the run, look at how fast he processes. Look at how fast he starts to change direction here. Look at how quickly he realizes, compared to the other linebacker, that this play is actually some sort of double pass or some sort of fake where the running back's going to give it back to the wide receiver who's coming on this end around. And I feel like this play right here, Leonard's able to recognize it because based off the offensive lineman, you can tell these guys aren't actually looking to reach and seal off. You can tell that this guy's not actually coming out to Leonard, as is the tight end here. These guys are actually not reaching or blocking downhill. And I feel like Leonard's able to feel that out a little bit. And within this play, he's able to quickly process, he's able to quickly recognize what's happening, and he changes direction. Now, if this wide receiver was, let's just say, for example, going to keep the football and try to run it over here to the right, I'm pretty confident that Leonard would be able to kind of get there and make the play. So this is a great job recognizing by Leonard. Of course, within this play, he doesn't actually do anything, but I did want to point it out because it is one of the things that stuck out to me on tape. It's one of the things with Leonard that we know he can do, which is read, recognize, and process. Check this play out. You got a 2nd and 6, and Leonard once again is going to come downhill. He's going to stop the running back right here for a gain of no yards. Once again, Leonard's going to make the read, and he's going to get downhill, and he's going to blow the play up. So on this play, you're going to see that the left guard is actually going to pull from the left guard position, and he's going to actually pull to the left side of your screen. And as he starts to pull, you can see that the hole right there is kind of opening up for Leonard to be able to take his shot. And Leonard jumps it. And with that, Leonard basically blows the play up. That's a really nice shot by Darius Leonard to be able to recognize and to read. And I know some people are going to say, why are you calling him Darius? His name's Shaq. We'll go back and forth in this video. I'll call him Shaq sometimes. I'll call him Darius at other times. When he came out of college, obviously I referred to him as Darius Leonard. And I loved his college tape. As he came out, he's one of my favorite linebackers. The guy is a phenomenal football player, and he is starting to get healthier. You're starting to see him start to play with the natural instincts he had when he kind of came out of college. You're seeing that from a health perspective. He's looking better and better as the season's going on. Alright, you guys, check this play out here. You got a cover 6. I want you guys to watch Leonard on the tight end who's going to run across the middle of the field. So the offense is going to try to run this play action with the crosser, which is going to be the tight end Darren Waller. And they're trying to suck in the linebackers enough where Waller's able to get open right behind one of these 2 linebackers. And Leonard's able to recognize that this play is not a run, and he sticks on Waller and he takes him away. And the quarterback's option within this play is gone. And Leonard is the exact reason why this play ultimately does not work. I mean, this play right here is exactly why the Philadelphia Eagles wanted Darius Leonard. This play right here where he's able to feel Darren Waller coming right behind him, and he's going to turn the hips, and he's going to start to run with him, and he's going to take that away. The quarterback's looking right at it. And he takes it away. He stays in front of it. The quarterback's going to roll to the left now because his read is gone. And he's basically going to end up throwing the ball away. That's a really nice shot by Leonard. Once again, these are the type of plays we expected from Leonard, specifically in pass coverage. And we're starting to see the flashes. We're starting to see this guy do things at a top tier level when it comes to defending the pass. So the Eagles are actually going to run this game here where they're going to slant these 2 guys. And the defensive end's actually going to come to the inside. But keep in mind, with Darius Leonard here slanting to the right side and the defensive end looping to the inside, that means Leonard actually has the outside containment. So Leonard understands his responsibility. He's not going to let the quarterback get out of the pocket. He's going to play this perfectly. He's not going to fall for any sort of fake pass. And he's going to end up bringing the quarterback down. To me, this is a really, really nice job by Leonard. To be able to recognize what he has to do within this play, do his job, and execute it well. Of course, he gets credit for the sack. But I think more than just getting credit for the sack, the fact that he does his job is the big thing for me. Also keep this in mind, there's only one linebacker on the field on this 3rd and 8. And it happens to be Leonard, and I think it's because the Eagles have recognized what they kind of saw on tape over the last 2 weeks with Leonard. He was limited, obviously, but in this week, they went forward with him, and they put him out there and said, you're going to be the full-time starting linebacker, you'll be the 3rd down linebacker, and the guy delivered. It's a really, really nice job right here by Leonard. Leonard's going to make a tackle on this run rep, but I want you guys to watch the hands. We're going to go ahead and slow this down. Watch the hands of Leonard to get the hands into the center. Shed the block and make the tackle. A really nice job by Leonard. Once again, to show us that the guy can still defend the run. Specifically when it comes on to taking on blocks. You know, a linebacker can jump a gap and go unblocked and make the tackle. A linebacker can shoot a gap and wrap a guy up. But it's a completely different ball game when you're talking about taking on blocks. When you're talking about getting your hands into a 300-pound offensive lineman, bench pressing him off you, or shedding him to the side and then making the tackle on the running back. For the Philadelphia Eagles and the defensive scheme that they like to run, the numbers here are going to favor the offense. The Eagles just don't have enough guys in every single gap. There will always be one gap that's basically going to go free. In this instance, there's actually 2 gaps. You got the A gap here, and you got an extra gap here between the 2 tight ends that are basically going to be free. And what that means is Leonard now has to cover multiple gaps. He has to be able to recognize and get into these different gaps. So when you don't stack the box, instead when you go with a light box, you have to be able to get off the block. It's the only way to cover multiple gaps. You got to be able to take people on and then shed. And in this instance, you see Leonard do a pretty good job. The play did hit for 4 yards, but it was 2nd and 8. And I would say a 3rd and 4 is favorable for the defense because one play and you're off the field. Pretty nice job. Let's get into the next snap. Alright guys, so you're going to get a 7-yard touchdown run on this one. Leonard's actually going to go downhill, and you'll see that Saquon Barkley's going to basically be able to run it right through here. And I want to talk about this play a little bit because the numbers actually favor the defense. If you guys analyze this play based off of alignment, let me back this up here a frame. If you guys look at this based off of alignment, obviously the 2 defensive ends are going to have the furthest gaps to the outside. Number 90, Davis, is playing what looks like the 3 technique, which means to me he has the B gap, which means that number 57 most likely has the A gap. Number 91, I believe, has the other A gap, and 53 has the B gap. And I say that because within this play as it begins, you're going to actually see Leonard shoot that B gap, as well as Cox is also going to take a step downward. So as soon as this play begins, Cox takes a step to the inside, and Leonard ends up jumping to the left side, which is going to be the outside. So Leonard takes the B gap here. Cox takes the A gap here. That means number 57 here has to get into this gap here. And he's going to be just too slow to recognize this one. To me on this one, this is on Cunningham. He has to be able to get over to the left faster. Instead, he ends up getting blocked off. And Saquon Barkley's going to score a touchdown. Of course, I saw some people posting this play here on Twitter talking about how Leonard got out of his gap. I don't think that was actually his run fit. So I wanted to point that out. And it's also important to understand that when you're stacking the box, as the Eagles are on this one, playing your gap and staying within your gap is very, very important. So the fact that Leonard ends up jumping into the B gap tells me he had some sort of blitz, but he made sure to stick within his run fit. And Cunningham was just a second late to be able to react. And just like that, you can get a 7-yard touchdown by Saquon Barkley. So check this play out here. The Giants are actually going to try to get Darren Waller on some sort of choice route. And they're actually going to attack Leonard on this one. But what's going to actually end up happening on this play is Leonard's going to do a great job staying right on Darren Waller. The quarterback's going to stare this down. As soon as Waller actually makes his break, Leonard's all over it. The quarterback's going to actually bring the ball down. He's going to take off running. He decides not to throw it towards Leonard. Now, I point this play out to you guys because I want it to be known that Darius Leonard had a fantastic game when it came to being able to cover, when it came to being able to stay within, the tight end and be able to cover the tight end. This is a great tight end here. And Leonard was all over it, right? He had so many high quality reps like this where he was able to cover the linebacker. So that's a great job right there by Leonard. Let's get into the next snap. You got another play here. Leonard's going to do a fantastic job getting into the run fit, and he's going to stop the running back. And the running back's going to pick up about 1.5 yards. This is 2nd and 3. Great job by Leonard to be patient. And this is one of those light box scenarios. So Leonard's not going to necessarily just jump the gap. Instead, he's going to kind of stay back. He's going to stay relaxed and make sure that the running back isn't able to bounce this either all the way to the outside or bend it maybe back to the inside. But he sticks within the run fit, as you guys can see. And just like that, he's going to make the play here for a gain about 1 to 2 yards. It's a really nice job by Leonard. You got another nice rep in coverage by Leonard once again. This time he's going to be lined up against Darren Waller. Once again, the quarterback's going to think about throwing it, and he's going to look off of it. Backing it up just one frame. See the quarterback looking over here to Waller. Leonard's all over it, and the quarterback's going to pull the ball. And he's going to actually take off running. Once again, Leonard doing a really nice job in coverage. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. Overall, I felt like Leonard had a really solid game against the Giants, and the fact that the Eagles allowed Leonard to go out there and play 40, 50, 55 snaps this game really allowed this guy to have success, right? It really allowed Leonard to feel comfortable within the game plan. It allowed him to not only have the feel for 1st and 2nd down, but to understand the situation going into every 3rd down. And I felt like the Eagles had a pretty good game from the linebacker position specifically. And of course, Leonard was a big part of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing. And I will see you guys next time with another video.